Yo everybody, it's me MetaVT. Today we're going to be doing malicious compliance. Now, I hope to get some juicy ones today, so let's get into it. Work my hours, or we'll find someone who will. So there I was, working at a mid-sized IT firm as a software developer. My team had always been pretty laid back, focusing on results rather than the exact hours we were glued to our desks. Our projects were delivered on time, our clients were happy, and our team morale was high. That is, until we got a new project manager. Let's call him Dave. Dave was fresh from a highly regimented corporate background and had ideas about proper workplace management, which basically meant micromanaging everything. Oh god, I hate that. That is oof. Let people work, man. He'd schedule unnecessary daily status meetings, demanded we fill out hourly work logs, and insisted that everyone strictly adhere to the 9 to 5 office hours with minimal breaks. One day, during one of his infamous efficiency crackdowns, he sent out an email with a new policy that all coding must be done strictly within office hours to ensure collaboration and supervision. This was ridiculous because creative work like coding often requires flexible hours for maximum productivity, but Dave was adamant, and he ended his email with, "If you think you can find a loophole, think again. Follow the rules and we'll find someone who will." Challenge accepted, Dave. I decided to comply. Meticulously, I coded strictly between 9 AM and 5 PM, not a minute earlier, not a second later. If I encountered a bug or was in the middle of a complex piece of code, too bad. 5 PM means the end, no matter what. My teammate, fed up with being treated like school children, followed my lead. The results were predictable. Projects that usually took a couple of weeks started dragging on. Tasks that we could have completed in days with a bit of overtime took much longer because we couldn't capitalize on the bursts of late afternoon productivity we were used to. Our workflow was severely disrupted and the quality of our work started to deteriorate. Dave noticed, of course. He had to answer to upper management for the sudden drop in productivity and lack of commitment, which he knew was a result of our dissatisfaction with his new policy. When upper management called for an impromptu Zoom meeting with the entire at 4:30 PM to address the ongoing project delays, the entire team logged in to explain our situation. In the meeting, Dave spent half an hour shifting blame and berating individual team members. He didn't even mention the 9 to 5 policy that had led to the whole situation. As the clock ticked towards 5 PM, the tensions in the virtual room was palpable, and our team hatched a plan over text. Right on cue, as the clock struck 5 PM, one of the employees spoke up. "In compliance with Dave's 9 to 5 rule, we must log off now." Without missing a beat, every team member clicked leave meeting, leaving a stunned Dave to face the executives alone. This abrupt exit highlighted the impracticality of Dave's rigid policy, making it clear to the executives that change was necessary. The incident, quickly dubbed as the 5 o'clock Zoom exodus, led to another meeting where Dave was publicly admonished and instructed to abolish his strict rules in favor of more flexibility. And as for me and my team, we made sure to celebrate our little victory with a well-deserved happy hour. After 5 PM, of course. One coffee coming right up. I worked at a cafe in a big shopping center for a few months before jobs I actually liked. The manager was a nut and liked to throw her weight around. Every evening, she'd tell me to clean the coffee machine and get ready to close up. Every evening, once I was done, she'd ask me to make her a coffee for the road. I'd have to make it and then clean everything again. I offered to make it for her before I cleaned the machine, but she complained that it wouldn't be hot enough. I received a better job offer and was looking forward to one more week before leaving. However, the next night, she wanted coffee after we'd already had to stay back, and I definitely wasn't getting paid overtime. Everyone had left 30 minutes before I had had enough. I took care to spill coffee grounds everywhere, used as many utensils and jugs as I could, and just made a huge mess. As I handed her the coffee and told her I quit, the look on her face was priceless. She realized she'd be the one cleaning up. Worth being poor for a week. Honestly, screw that, dude. Boss, I don't need your input. Just do what I say. So my wife is having some issues at her work with multiple people on different levels of management telling her different things to do depending on who's the manager on duty at the moment. I said she should do what the acting manager told her to do. And when another manager came on duty complaining about what she was doing, to relay what the previous manager had told her and to let them work it out. I also said that she should document everything so that she could relay it to HR if it became necessary to do so. I then explained to her about malicious compliance and what it meant. Oh goodness. This started me thinking about an incident at my old job at a manufacturing plant about 12 years ago. The building had 2 areas, a production packaging area and an attached shipping/receiving warehouse. The production area was air conditioned/heated. The warehouse was heated but only had roof exhaust fans and no AC. So it got pretty hot in the summer, but was bearable. We just moved slower. On end of Friday, we closed all the dock doors and shut off the exhaust fans and closed the overhead door that separated the warehouse from the production areas. During the week, the overhead was open but had those plastic flat strips you could drive a forklift through to keep the cool air in production. One Friday, the newish manager, who spent little actual time in that building, told us that we should keep the fans on and the separation overhead door open during the weekend to keep the temperature cooler in the warehouse. Why he cared, I really can't fathom. We tried to explain to him that with the dock doors closed, the roof fans would simply suck all of the cold air out of the production area, but he blew us off with the standard, "You will do as I instruct you to do." So cue malicious compliance. Monday comes that morning in July, and it was hot as hell in the production area. The warehouse was the same temperature as always, and the coils on the production AC units had frozen and we had to have people to come out and service them. All the manager had to say was, keep that separation overhead door closed at all times. Permanent structure? Okay. I grew up in an okay town that has since become snobbier. I was driving down my old street last year and I saw my old neighbor, Andrea, sitting on her front porch. I stopped to say hi. Turning into the driveway, I noticed a regulation-sized soccer goal in her next-door neighbor's small front yard, which is very out of sync with the rest of the neighborhood. It made me laugh a little. After a quick catch-up, I learned a couple of things. She's the last of my old neighbors who still lives on the street, and the neighborhood has become very keeping up with the Jones with the expectation of her next-door neighbor. I asked about the soccer goal, and here's the story. The neighborhood has a young daughter who loves soccer. She would spend hours in the front yard kicking goals onto a small goal anchored in the front yard with tent spikes. Apparently, another neighbor, they don't know who, but they suspect the people directly across the street complained to the township because of the semi-permanent structure in the front yard. Complained to the township because of the semi-permanent structure in the front yard. The neighbors got upset, obviously. It was basically a toy in the front yard. Cops came to their house? What? They caught a warning. Then they thought it would be okay as long as they took it down when they weren't home. But nope, cops called again. And they were fine while the daughter was using it. The fine said something about having a semi-permanent because of the tent state structure. Cue malicious compliance. They weren't allowed to have a semi-permanent structure, but they could have a permanent structure. So they went, got a permit from the township, dug the holes, filled it with concrete, built a regulation-sized goal, and hung the permit on one of the poles. Now the mystery neighbor has to look at the goal every day. That's what you get, bro. That's what you get for being a petty bitch about a soccer goal. Honestly. Dang. That's great. I like that. Boss didn't follow his own dress code. I work for a popular fast food company. I won't say the name, but it can be recognized by the sound of a single bong in its jingle. Anyway, we are required to wear company brand shirts and must display the company logo on our bodies somewhere. Enter morning shift boss. I almost never see anybody from morning shift, as I'm either evening or closing. But due to layoffs, we needed a closing manager. He's incredibly nitpicky and hypocritical and only invokes the rules when it's convenient for him. Anyway, my attire that never got any write-ups or talks was the company shirt, company hat, an apron, and jeans. MS boss walks up to me and talks to me about the dress code and my violations. Apparently the rim of my shirt was too low. My apron wasn't allowed to have pockets. But the thing that really set him off was my jeans. He said I can't have them cuffed. And I either have to cut them, to size, or get new jeans that fit. I tried to explain to him that I have very wide hips and jeans in my waist size are usually meant for big and tall people. And I couldn't find any jeans anywhere that had my leg length. He said, just cut them then. Later that week, he made everyone sign a pamphlet that basically says, I understand the dress code and I will follow it or face repercussions. I'm gonna take a second here. I hated that kind of thing. Management that does that are the worst. Back to the story. Fortunately, this pamphlet had this company dress code written in the text. Everyone else just signed their name and moved on, but I took the pamphlet into the back office, took the time to read the whole thing. My boss came in and wondered why I wasn't working. I told him, my father told me to never sign things without reading the terms first. Just sign it, he replied. I will. I just want to know what I'm signing my soul away over for first is all. I'm guessing he thought what I said was funny as he chuckled and walked away, but then I saw it, my saving grace. Only dark blue denim, black jeans or black pants, solid in color and approved to wear as your company uniform. Pants and jeans should not touch the ground, have holes, fadings, embellishments, or light washes. That's everything the dress code said about jeans. It said nothing, I wasn't allowed to cuff them, and it did say I have to wear a company apron too, which don't have pockets, but it has never said anything I can't wear more than one apron. I proudly signed the pamphlet saying I fully understand the dress code, and I saw that my boss was the first person to sign it too. The next day I came to work with my jeans cuffed, my company apron on, and I wore it backwards and my usual apron on regularly, and I did tuck in my shirt as that was my dress code. A few coworkers wondered why I had two aprons that still cuffed my jeans. I told them everything I'm wearing is to the letter up to the dress code. When my boss finally called me into the office and said I would receive a write-up for insubordination and dress code violation, I told him, cheeky finger wag. Everything I am wearing is up to code. I thought you knew that. You signed it too. I assume you took the time to read the terms of the dress code too. He got the pamphlet out and started reading the terms, and I could see him looking at my jeans and back of the pamphlet, then back at me, then my apron, then the paper again. Is there anything that violates the dress code? No, he replied. Well, then a write-up would be unnecessary for me, but I would like to point out the dress code specifically prohibits holes on the tire. And I think I see a hole right there on your shirt. And also it says pants cannot touch the floor, and your pants are down by your heels, sir. I could see some dirt and stray pieces of lettuce on the rim of your pant leg. He looked and saw. Then he shimmied his pants higher up to his belly button. You know, if they're too long, you can just cuff them. And then I promptly left. Felt pretty proud of myself for that. My boss never came to me about dress code after that. I hated when companies would do that crap. Like places I worked, they'd be like, oh, you all have to sign this or face the repercussions. Like, bro, what if I don't agree with it? You know, like it is, I really, really despise companies like that. All right, on to the next one. Annoy me while I'm trying to make the shopping list? Okay then. Kind of a small one, but lately my dad and older brother have been trying to push the job of making the shopping list onto me, of course, because I don't know how much they need. Since I'm the least food interested person in the house, I need someone's help with making the list. As dad had gone to bed, my brother helped me. Well, he helped me. He would sit there and tell me which item I needed to check one at a time and give me a vague or stupid answer as to how much we needed of something. For example, we need 35 tubs of mint ice cream, or the amount of beer we needed was a fridge full. And I was getting annoyed, especially because he was trying to watch a movie at the time, bruh. I kept pausing and unpausing it between items, so I had to deal with him always telling me to shut up and wait for the end of the scene or a good time to pause, which took several minutes per item for a full shopping list for 3 people and a cat. Did I mention it was like 11:45 p.m. when we started doing this? And this is after he dragged his feet on helping for 3 days. Eventually I got sick of it and started writing exactly what he said when it came to his food stuff, so we needed an amount of veggie burgers. Just guess, of tuna. Shut up, this is the good bit of dark cooking chocolate. Look at the silly moggy of butternut squash and so on. What's a silly moggy? What's a silly moggy? Can someone tell me that in the comments? By the time we were done, it was past 2 a.m. and I was knackered, stressed, and satisfied with my work. I took the list upstairs to my dad, left it on his bedside table with a sticky note and said, if anything looks wrong, just don't get it. Dad went to do the shopping and came back with everything I eat and he eats. My brother was missing about 85% of his food items. My brother asked, what the hell happened? My dad said that he couldn't tell whether we needed to get some things because the amounts of these things seemed unusual or costly, and felt that it was safer if he didn't buy those things. It turns out dad had been kept awake by my brother's movie for 2.5 hours last night and was as sick to the back teeth with it as I was. My brother had to walk up to the local shop and buy as many of his things as he could from there. They didn't have everything. Out of his own money, he even had to make 2 trips because he couldn't carry everything the first time. It's a mile walk there, meaning he had to walk 4 miles in total. Damn! It's a mile walk there, meaning he had to walk 4 miles in total to buy his food out of his pocket. Dad wouldn't drive him because he had a long run to do, and I sure as hell wasn't going to help. It was too busy eating my Pringles that I forgot to put on the list. I'm still going to have to help make the list in the future, but when I do, something tells me my 27-year-old brother will help properly next time. Make this pack of beers fit in that fridge. They don't fit. We were going camping 40 years ago. We had a pop-up trailer with a built-in mini fridge with a sink and cooktop. My dad said, put those beers in the fridge. I took the beers, I don't remember exactly, but I think it was about a 12-pack of long neck glass bottles. I opened the fridge and put the beers in. They didn't all fit. I put them all upright. I guaranteed that the door would close and none would fall out when you open the fridge. There were some in the door where condiments go. It was pretty full. I reported back. They were angry when they heard that they didn't all fit. They commanded that I go back and put all the beers in the fridge and not to come back until it was done. Could the beers be on the side with the fridge door still closing? I could stack them up? No. Could I put beers that are upside down with the beers that are right side up? It wasn't stable. I worked at it for a while since I didn't have a time limit. I like geometry, I'm good at math, I like puzzles. Still, it could not be done. I was satisfied that the volume of the beer challenged the volume of the fridge and that there were possible alternative unstable stacking methods that could get some more bottles in there. But woe to anyone who opened the fridge because the cascade of beers would be impressive. Feeling confident, I reported back the request could not be done. They were enraged. It strikes my adult self that I should have just reported victory and hid the other beers somewhere else in the camper until there was room in the fridge. Maybe I should have drank the ones that didn't fit. I was young though, didn't think of that. They were so mad I had to go back with them all in the fridge. Okay then, I went for an unstable arrangement of beers and worked at it for some time until I could just slam the door closed in time to form a seal. Eventually they opened the booby trap door. The camper was not level as the door opened. The beers all rolled out in the fridge and a rush to the open door of the camper like salmon jumping free when the dam is released. But they crashed in pools of broken glass and beer on rocks. My dad caught a few like an Alaskan bear on the river. He got like 2 in each mitt. I expected to be yelled at again, but no, strangely the worst fit was reported in the news that they didn't fit and not the aftermath of the Great Beer Migration. I mean, bro, like, I hate when parents do that. You tell them, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Do it. And it's like, I literally can't. And they just won't accept no for an answer. Like, learn to listen to your kids, people. And ask them questions. Don't just yell at them and get mad. All right. Thank you all very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. There's some pretty good stories in there today. And y'all have a fantastic night. Thank you for watching. See you next time.